Hi, hello, and how are you? That's right, ladies and gentlemen, that Rockwell timepiece says it's time. So come on in and stay a while. It's time to get coached up with another edition of this award-nominated Coach Scott Field Show. That's right, Rockwell is a proud partner of the Coach Scott Field Show, and I'm thrilled and honored to be a brand ambassador. Go to rockwelltime.com, ROCKWELLTIME.com. Use the discount code Coach20 for 20% off of anything at that website. You're going to love the merch. There's a lot of swag in those timepieces. Man, I'll tell you what, they're pretty icy. Like and follow the Coach Scott Field Show on Facebook. Smash that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Hit that little bell for notifications when the show is uploaded. If you're listening to us in podcast form, Lee and I tell you to turn that knob up. We're going to put that flavor in your ear. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, watch us on DBTV Monday through Friday, where we have over 300,000 loyal viewers daily, and we have the opportunity to be seen in over 300 million households around the globe. Also, catch us on CSTV Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and also the Rewind Sports 60. Thank you so much for your continued support. And without further ado, I'm with my guy, my man, my dude, Lee Nailon. Lee, welcome back to the show, my friend.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on again.
You
The
got
first
it.
one was we gotta top the first one.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, that was tough because we had a lot of positive feedback from our viewers. They just enjoyed the stories and the content, but I know we'll serve it up for you now. Hey, I'll be the alley and you're the oop.
Yeah, I get used to.
Yeah. So let's look at this. Here we are today, just a couple Indiana boys talking about the game that we love, that we have so much passion for, and that provides so much purpose in our life. You won a state championship back in '94 with South Bend Clay. How much did those experience how much did that kind of catapult you and set the foundation for your entire career with basketball?
Well, it did a lot because, again, I didn't make the basketball team my freshman year in high school. So, um, moving forward from then, it just built confidence up every year, and on top of that, it helped me, work with different personalities on my team. Now that I'm in coaching now, it's more of a kind of leading the ship, right, so to speak, and just giving them, experience and knowledge on, how to be a good teammate, enjoy the process. It's about winning. You don't never want to be on. Obviously, you lose games, but you're supposed to learn from the games. But at the same time, you don't want to lose a mentality. Going through high school because it could affect you outside of high school. Going into a normal life or paying bills or just being a grown adult. So winning the state high school in high school in South Bend, Indiana, well as I do. Indiana State where if you don't play basketball, man, it's kind of like curtains for you. So you look like you look different, around everybody. But yeah, winning the state title definitely catapult my career and my confidence.
Talk about that South Bend Clay community. I mean, because when we played, I mean, there was no classification in basketball. It was, there was no 5A, 4A, 3A, which now Indiana IHSAA rules has. But talk about that community. Talk about growing up in that community. Talk about the support systems that were in place for you as you were growing and developing and evolving as a young man.
Well, growing up in my house, I didn't have a father around, so I pretty much used the community to well, I would say like model who I wanted to be. So I hung out with different varieties of guys. some good, some bad. But I took some from each one, to kind of be who I am today. So the community, they always, all our games were sold out. Like it was crazy. Indiana ball is something different. But the community, we used to go play basketball all the time at parks and play against older guys that was, used to have it or um, went to college, came back home for a reason or two, but they still was elite players at the time we was growing up because we watched them when we was in middle school. So they kind of helped us shape who I was and my teammates was just because they knew the game more than we did, and they've been in the places that we was trying to get to. So they was kind of like mentors, but again, we didn't want to be like them. We wanted to be more than they were. So um, yeah, the parks was crazy every day, every night, all the way till street lights come on. That's what we did, played outside. So the community, they always backed us, came to watch our games. Martin Luther King Center was my second home where we played all the time for free, just to get in. We used to play all night and just, compete against all the other schools because in South Bend we had like 6 high schools. So that was the hub for guys thought they had game to come there and play against the West Side guys. The Martin Luther King Center was on the West Side, so it was a melting pot for all of us, man. It was a joy, and that's why I created some of my friends that wasn't at my high school, so I still talk to this day. So it was definitely the community that helped build who I was and help kind of somewhat be a role model for kids growing up around there.
I love that. And you mentioned a minute ago, Lee, you talked about not making the team as a freshman. And when you hear that story, you automatically think of a Michael Jordan who had to persevere and work hard and earn, his way onto that team. Do you feel that your story, that there's parallels there, and you're glad? Who was the person that kind of kept your focus and kept your mindset and kept that positive energy going for you to say, hey, you know what, you're going to be okay, you're going to make it? Who was that guy who kind of kept you from making poor decisions at that time?
Well, it was a few people, but I once I found out that Michael Jordan made the team freshman year, trust me, I didn't think I was him. So so I thought it pretty cool that one um, that he didn't make the team as a freshman, and two that we the same sign. He a Pisces too, so I thought that was kind of weird. So but it was a few. My grandmother, she was really the one that kept telling me I was gonna be different. I was special, just growing up. Then I had a guy, Rondell, man, Rondell. He was more of the guy, on the streets that where he was doing all positive stuff. He wasn't, gang banging and packing guns and stuff like that. So he was one of the ones that was always telling me. Again, he went to college and got his degree. He played ball at K State, so um, he was the one that was kind of leading the ship, as far as trying to get me to realize and believe that I'm supposed to be playing basketball and not just hanging out with guys that I'm not supposed to be with. So it was. I had some strong minded and some pretty focused adults that was underneath me that kind of steered the ship a little bit. But obviously, you want to drive your own ship sometimes, and sometimes I wrecked. Sometimes I sunk, but I still end up uh, staying above water, so to speak. But my high school coach, he was great too. Tom DeBase, a legend. He was a mentor teacher. He was a father figure too. He wanted to see me do well, but again, I wasn't his favorite as a freshman because obviously I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. They was at the gym while I wasn't at the gym, but I still felt like I should have made the team. But as I got older, um, I started to realize that he was only doing that, to get the best out of me and to make sure that I was one of the few guys that made it out, because again, a lot of guys they made it out, but they came back, sooner than later. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, I had a few guys. I had a few, people that was actually looking out for me, for the most part. And I turned a couple bad corners, but I bounced back, and I knew that wasn't the route that I wanted to take. So I woke up, soon, and bumped my head a few times, but it didn't take more than that to understand what side I wanted to be on.
Right. I love hearing these stories because I hear that there was persistence there. There was hard work there. You had someone kind of help you, get over some landmines. But what did it feel like? Because, I mean, Indiana, basketball is religion. Every barn has a basketball goal. Every
Yeah.
light pole has a basketball goal. Every driveway has a basketball goal. What did it feel like to climb that ladder and cut down the nets, knowing that you were a state champion of Indiana high school basketball?
Well, growing up back then, it was common for kids to grow up together all the way through high school. Now it's foreign now to see kids go to elementary, middle school, then high school together. So the team that we won the state, I've been playing with them since fifth grade.
Wow.
So once we got to high school, we start feeling ourselves because we start winning and we start getting better. So and every in the huddle, uh, my junior year, we lost in the sectionals, the finals, by a bogus, a crazy traveling, but we lost. But it helped us grow for the next year. So every in the huddle, we used to say where we going, and then we used to say to the dome, because the Hoosier Dome is that's where they had the games. So every day we used to say that before practice and after practice, where we going to the dome. We all used to say that on three. So it was more of a us being together since day one.
Wow.
That major part. One of my best buddies died of cancer. Chad Hudson, rest in peace. But he was a white guy. Played, wouldn't come play at King Center until he got to high school. And he starting to come around play high school ball with us. And we turned him into something different. So on the court, we knew that, he had our backs instead of wondering what side he was going to be on, far as, scoring or playing well or scared because of he playing against colored guys. So we wanted to get that out of him. Once we got that out of him, we was off and running. And, we was 27-2 when we met up with Bryce Jew, that was 29-0. So we met up with them, and again, we said it, but as kids, you like, man, that ain't gonna happen, you know. But we kept saying it, so it actually came to fruition. So um, once we won the championship, we beat Valparaiso on overtime. Um, we was cutting the nets down, and still to this day, it's still like wow, because um, if I'm not mistaken, I think they had that class one more year, and then they start breaking them off in sections, like
Yeah.
different classes. So that was the real last um, Hoosier Dome experience. In the high school championship where it was 40,000 people there. That was crazy, but it was a joy, man, and it just when I was cutting the net down, I just started thinking about everybody that actually played a part in making this happen.
Wow.
Whether it was good or bad. Mainly good because um, they kept telling me that I was gonna do something special. I was gonna be a good player, and whatnot, and for them to believe that and to see me cutting the nets down, it was just crazy. But
Right.
it ain't nothing like that. Once you get up on the ladder, you actually looking over everybody, so it kind of make you feel like you're on top. So it was a definitely a mind blowing and not something that I'll never forget.
Love that. Thanks for sharing that with us, Lee. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Lee Nailon here with us, a guest on the Coach Scott Field Show, sharing experiences from his Indiana high school basketball days. And you and I being Indiana boys, we know what that means because it is different and it is unique. And that environment, I think, also helped before classification, helped learn a lot of life lessons. It taught you to be prepared. Nothing was going to come easy. There's going to be ups and downs. And, the fact that you was at the pinnacle of Indiana high school basketball has to be something special that I know you probably share those stories still today, even with kids that you coach.
Yeah, I do. I try to, again, the reason why I took reason why I really teach basketball is to, you know, to not only teach and give back, but kind of share stories with them so that they understand that what they're going through at that time, I probably went through it, and look where I'm at now. So it's more of a surreal thing for a lot of kids to get coached by an NBA guy,
Yeah.
So I try to make sure that I you know hit hit them where they really gonna listen and really take it in and try to take some of it forward with them, moving forward in life, even if they don't play basketball. It's
That's
something
right.
that you can learn from, guys every day, and working with them and learning how to deal with each other's, adversity, and putting it to the side, and just balling out for 2.5 hours every day. So
That's right.
um, it's definitely something that, I'm starting to enjoy more, is, coaching and giving back to kids, because, again, we can't save them all, but as long as we can try to get one or two, then,
That's right.
we that's what we try. That's what I try to strive for.
Amen, brother. Amen. Love that. In your path, um, you ended up going the junior college route, and you went to a couple of junior colleges, ended up at Butler before you were a two-time All-American with TCU. Talk about that transition from being Indiana, state champion to being at a community college, and how did that help you also develop, you know, on the court and in the classroom?
Well, when you win a state championship, you think that, you got, every team in the Big Ten recruiting you. And we won state, but I didn't have every team recruit. I didn't have every team recruiting me. I only had a few schools, and I thought that going junior college was the best route for me because of two reasons: one, for the discipline, and two, for the grades. Get in school and kind of um, crawl my way into college instead of just getting there and start off and running. So I felt like junior college was at my level, and every day I used to watch NCAA basketball every day, because I felt like that was my next journey. So I had to see how I had to play at that time to get to that level. So every day it was work. Every day I woke up, I was thinking, man, I want to go play D1. So classrooms, it was every day we had study hall, we had tutors. So it really um kind of transformed my mind to understand that this is a business. So I started taking school and basketball practice a lot serious, as well as um off the court, who I hung out with, and making sure that I stayed the course to my journey. So junior college was definitely, I loved it, because it was just us, really. The campus not that big, so you just
Yeah.
with your team. So that helped me, you know, when I had problems, I knew I had 13 guys I could lean on, and they helped me get through it. So it was kind of like we was a family, and we hung out all the time. We went out to eat all the time. Where we went to the malls, it was all of us. So I missed that part about junior college, because once you get to college, it's a bigger campus, and guys is on their own genders, so you don't get that togetherness 24 hours. You only get it for 4 or 5 hours. So you had to, once you got D1, you had to really man up and search for the right people around you because you don't have your teammates that much no more. So um, junior college really prepared me for a bigger campus and knowing that I was going to be, not with all 12, 13 guys no more. I was going to be with one or two guys. So it was definitely a challenging thing on that side. But as far as the basketball side, I was just so thirsty and so hungry to just do something else for my city. Won a state championship, and I wanted one of the first guys to go to the NBA. So I actually made that happen. But every time I was on the basketball court, I mean, this might sound naive, but I never did it for myself. I always did it for my family, my city, and then for the game, you know. So I always played it with that passion and fire, and that's how I coach now. And maybe I'm too fiery for these kids because they don't understand how this game changed my whole life to where I'm at right now, standing in front of them. But one thing, I try to separate is being different on the court with them being as coach and being different off the court so they understand that, listen, this is another side of me right here that I want y'all to see because I wanted to fire y'all up to me like, okay, this how I got to be on the court. And then I show them the side off the court to where, I'm loving on, hey, what's going on? We joking around playing and stuff to where it's okay to have two sides of you because in real life, you need two sides. If you got one side, you're going to get chewed up, So I just try to make sure that I try to balance that out. And again, you're going to ruffle some feathers just because some kids ain't built like that, So I don't never want to stop um, coaching the way I want to coach because I do it through passion and what made me who I am today to be able to give this game back to kids that's not even, you know, gonna be playing in the NBA, but potentially could go to college and get a free education to where, hopefully down the line that maybe one day they'll be a coach, So then now it's like he scratched my back, I scratch your back type of thing. So yeah, I love the process. I love everything, but the most important thing is to make sure that I always give back to the kids and let them understand that I'm doing this for you guys. I already chased mine. I want to see
Yeah.
you chase yours.
Lee, I love that because don't lose that fire because you're teaching them life lessons through that fire because that's your personality and that's who you are. Make them rise up to that ceiling instead of lowering the ceiling for them. And I think too much of that happens in today's society. So what I heard was, through junior college, you got to junior college and that taught you how to study. It taught you how to be focused in the classroom because there, at least on campus at a junior college, you were Lee before you were just turned loose to a major campus. And then all of a sudden you
Right.
were a social security number.
Exactly. So it was again being away from home. I call my mom every day. I call my grandmother every day because she had a 1-800 number. You remember they had the 1-800
Yeah.
number?
Yeah.
That's out of my grandmother. She's like, boy, if you call here one more time, like, Granny, what y'all do? What you cook? Like, just so I just did a little more unleaded gas in my tank so that I can keep running. I can keep driving this car. So um, she they she definitely got tired of me. But once after about 2.5, 3 months went by, they start calling me like, "Hey, what's going on? Hey, are you okay?" I said, "What you want? Why you calling me?" Like they see that um, I had adapted to my new life, and it was weird to them just because they so used to me, being at home, running around from house to house.
Yeah.
They see me all the time. To not see me now, they just hear a voice.
Right.
So they worried about what was going on. But the most important thing was, I was in the newspaper for playing basketball, so I was sending articles home and stuff like that. So they was happy about that. But yeah, man, I think junior college really a lot of kids don't like junior college, but to be honest, a lot of kids should go junior college just because it teach you how to not only live alone and and take care of you and survive, but it teach you how to um, really cherish your teammates and turn into a real family on the court. So when you get to D1, maybe these guys never been there, but you might be the one to put that glue together to where you teach them how to be family on and off the court to where, you might go to the NCAA, you might, do some things that the school never did. But again, I think junior college is definitely a place where you can grow and you can make mistakes and still move forward.
That's right. And Lee, thanks for sharing that because I guess now we could look at ourselves, even though we're still young, we're considered old heads because we didn't have the technology that these kids have today. If we're going to call home, it had to be a collect call or that 800 number, like you talked about. There was no WhatsApp, there was no FaceTime, there wasn't any of that stuff. And you said newspapers. These kids today, they just pull up the news. They just go scrolling on Twitter, but we had to look at it in the
Yeah.
newspaper. I love that. Hey, let's
Yeah.
go to those TCU days because you really started to flourish. You were coming into your own. You were now starting to get on the national stage. Being two-time all conference. Talk about the impact that your coach at TCU had on you to help you become, instead of just a regional name or a local name, to becoming a national name and almost building a brand for Lee Nailon.
Right. Well, when I was at Butler, Billy Tubbs came to my game, couple games. First it was assistant coaches. Our head coaches are they
Yeah.
were like, I ain't going to. He might not be that good. So I seen a couple coaches from TCU came to the couple games and they made sure I seen them. They introduced themselves. Hey, how you doing? And it kind of made I was like, it kind of pissed me off because I'm like, dang, what? Where's the head coach? I want to see the head coach. I want to, I'm not like I don't want to talk to them, but
Yeah.
if the head coach is there, then that means that he's serious.
That's right.
So from them two games that they came to, I just took off. I started scoring crazy. We start winning. I think we went on like I think 19 in a row or something like that. Butler. So I just wanted to play D1 basketball. I didn't know what was gonna happen after that, but in my neighborhood, if you play D1 basketball, you made it.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I gotta get D1. So I felt like I made it like the rest of them guys, played 1 or 2 years, but I need to get to that level. But it was once I got to TCU, I was just Billy Tubbs, he really, really unlocked my mind because the work that we did before season was horrendous.
Ooh.
It was brutal to where I'm like, wow, do I really want this? So he put it in my mind that I can do anything really. I thought I could until I met him and he took it to another level. But one thing that he always promised me, he said, if you come play for me, I'll give you the ball every time, and I'll do my best to get you to the NBA. What kid want to hear a coach say, one, I'll give you the ball every time? What coach gonna tell you that? Ain't no coach telling kids that, that I'm gonna
Yeah.
give you the ball every time. Two, that he'll help me continue my career. So I trusted him. So um, once season started, we took off. We took off. Rest in peace, Billy Tubbs. That's my man.
Amen.
Like
Rest in
for
peace. Rest in peace, brother. Eh,
but go ahead.
I was just, I love hearing that because I hear what Billy Tubbs did for you by igniting that fire and being that fire and opening your mind to being like, hey, I'm that dude. And you're now doing that same fire with the kids that you're empowering and that you're developing on and off the court. So I hear a correlation there on what kind of impact he had on your life.
Yeah, he was he was tough, but I had one tough coach my first junior college year. He was nuts. I mean, he was Bobby Knight on steroids, because junior college, there was no rules. So you could practice how long you want. You lose a game, you come back and practice that. So it was. I played for a crazy coach, but Tubbs, he was crazy too, but he couldn't be crazy overtime. You know what I mean? Like we our practice, it was that. It wasn't no 4 or 5 hour practices. So, but he really was a mentor to me. Again, he coached a lot of left-handed big men, at Oklahoma.
That's right.
So he loved hands. So he just really just put it in me that you can actually play at the next level. And we took off as a team. I took off as an individual, and I didn't think I would do them type of numbers and them accolades on the D1 stage. I just wanted to get there, but to actually leave a mark and become an All-American and get drafted, that was something that I can't lie, I never thought that would happen.
And I'm going to get into that because I think it's phenomenal. I mean, two-time all-conference at TCU, but yet I also want to talk about the props at junior college because Kansas junior college, Texas junior college, Florida junior college. Hey, there's some dudes that get after it, and
Yeah,
it's a great level. So I want to make sure that, we talk about Kansas junior college basketball that prepared you on the court for Coach Billy Tubbs. And then you average 23.9 points a game, all conference. But yet, here, second round pick. I mean, you get drafted in the 40s. What was it like to receive that phone call to say, hey, Lee, we're drafting you. Welcome to the Charlotte Hornets. Take us to that euphoric moment, just like cutting the nets, at the Dome. What was it like to get that call that, man, you finally did it? Now you're going to represent your community and your home the way you wanted to do.
man, it was definitely something that it was an inner body experience. It was something that um once I met Billy Tubbs, I knew I could play in the NBA just because, again, he had the formula for years, and he had guys in the NBA at the time. So there was no doubt in my mind that he could help me get there. But once the Hornets called me, when Paul Silas called me and said, "Hey, welcome to the family," I was just like, I couldn't believe it. It was just like it, because growing up, the closest thing to being a role model from my neighborhood, so to speak, was Sean Kemp.
Oh, that's
He was
right.
from
The Rain Man. Yep. Concord.
Elkhart, Indiana, which was um, maybe about 20 minutes from South Bend. So he was the first, you know, South Bend Elkhart guy to get go to an NBA. So um, he ran through my mind too as one of the guys from the house that really made it to the NBA. I used to watch him and Gary Payton all the time when they played, and I was just high school. It was just amazing to see him on TV. A guy that was literally I watched in high school, and I can say that some of my friends knew his family members. So it was kind of like a family member making it. So once Paul Silas called and he basically told me, "Welcome to the family," I was like, "Oh man," I just cried, and it was just a big relief off my chest, in so many ways.
And again, may Coach Silas rest in peace as well. Great pioneer of the game, whose son is now coaching with the Rockets. Who was the first person you called after you got the call? Who did you let know right away that, hey, I made it?
Well, my mom, they was all with me. So, once I got off the phone, I told them they couldn't believe it. She was crying and stuff.
Oh,
Um, and I called was happy. Called my buddy Rondell, told him I got drafted. He couldn't believe it, but it was just, man, and I hate to say, because I don't want to just sound like it's just easy and I'm naive, but if you stay the course and you just continue to do what you want to do for the rest of your life, meaning that if you want to be a pro basketball player, then you got to live in the gym. I mean, because nowadays I wouldn't say it's easier, but no disrespect to the game and nothing like that, but it is easier to make it to the NBA now with all the social media and stuff like that
That's right.
than like back in the day. So if the kids now just understood, you know, they expect to train for one summer and think they're going NBA. It's not that ain't how it works. You gotta continue to plug and just go after what's in front of you and not what's down the road from you. You
Yeah.
know, so it's definitely easier, but it's harder because of the kids.
Yeah.
That's what I harder because the kids not.
I like that because it's like you have to embrace the process and be dedicated to the hard work on a daily basis. Yes, technology now, it's easier to market and promote yourself. In our generation, we didn't have that unless somebody was pushing for us behind the scenes. So I just think that's real talk that you're sharing right there. So I like how you share that knowledge with this younger generation and with our viewers. Um, who was the first person? I mean, I know you started off overseas before you had your stint with Charlotte, but once you got with the Hornets and in camp, who is that guy who taught Lee Nailon to be a pro and how to take care of your body and rest and recovery and eating right? Who was the guy that said, "Hey, young gun, do it like this"?
Well, it was a couple guys. For to start off, it was Bobby Fields, rest
Ah,
in peace. Um, and then it was David Wesley. Both of them guys,
wow,
say, hey, this is what you need to do. This how it looks. So I used to go over to David Wesley house all the time and hang out with him. His wife used to cook for us. But
man,
he was definitely um, one of the ones that made my transition a lot smoother. Just because when you plan an NBA, it's for real a business, and if you're not with somebody that's been in there, for 3, 4, 5, 7 years, then it can be brutal because you kicking butt in practice, but then you won't get no rewards. Like you won't play, you may not play for a month, 2 months. So I was dealing with that, on top of, just come from TCU where I bust everybody up,
yeah,
so I'm dealing with that too, on top of what I need to do for Coach Silas to let me play. And I used to go to David Wesley all the time, like, man, this is BS, man. I said, man, I'm killing mash burn in practice, man. I can't get no burn. He's like, man, wait your turn, young fella. Wait your turn. I was like, be ready. So I was like, man, he said that for like 40 games. Just be ready, be ready. I was like, man, I'm tired of you saying that. So about 45 games go by, the 45th to 6th game. Go Silas Lee. I said, what?
Here we go. Here we go. Love that story. And what a great opportunity to have two men who took you under their wing and taught you, but kept your mindset right. Because again, it's easy to lose confidence. It's easy to lose focus. It's easy to lose concentration. But you had good men, good support system, on your side to help you, stay that path and stay the course.
Right. But, and again, they didn't have to do that.
Right.
They just did because they seen, a kid that probably, came in walking and talking like them and then they felt like, man, let me grab him because he's a good dude, just off of just appearance. You know how you can just feel energy from people. So
Yep.
uh, sure, they had money already, so they wasn't trying to, get money from me. Nothing. They was just trying to literally be a big brother to a little brother that's coming into an NBA that's just full of piranhas.
Oh, great analogy. Great analogy. Um, how important through that process was it for you to have a good agent and someone who, you could talk with and communicate with and kind of help also keep your mind right?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I still talk to my agent to this day, Larry Fox. Give him a shout out.
Larry Fox,
You know, he
boy.
he that's my man. Like seriously, like he helped me through a lot, man. Like every time I had problems I wasn't playing, I would call him and cuss him out, and he'd take it, and he'd be like, "Yo, it's gonna be all right." So it was like a family. We always fought, but we made up. But it was important to have an agent that obviously I could have signed with a bunch of agents that had a bunch of clients that I could have went the sexy route, and just picked an agent that got a bunch of clients. But I felt like just from my background where I come from, I always had my circle small. So I wanted to find an agent that was that was thirsty and hungry to go after contracts or whatnot. But I needed to find one that I can talk to, that's that guy that had players in the NBA before me, so he can navigate and help me. Listen, this is how I look. This is how you should roll. But yeah, Larry Fox is still in my life right now. It's huge mentor still.
I love me some Larry Fox, and I've got some great Larry Fox stories for you as well, because that man is he's 100% real and authentic, and he cares about his people.
Yes, and that's one thing that he told me from day one, that listen, I'm gonna be more than your agent, and as we went through my career, he slowly started showing it like, listen, this guy is more than more than just the money. You want to make sure that, my family's right, and my kids is right. So I think it's important for a lot of these especially especially if you're not a top, 15, then you need an agent that'll wrap his arm around you and literally take you in, even though he's not making as much money as anybody else, to do what he do for you. When you come with them big agencies, they got 10, 11 guys that's in front of you, they, barely talk to. So what you think they're gonna do for you?
Yeah.
So a lot of a lot of these young athletes need to understand it ain't about the sexy pick. It's about the one that's gonna keep working for you when you sleep.
Preach those facts right there. And that's why I love having these conversations with you, Lee, because you're going to be honest, you're going to be real, and you're talking about, you know what, who's really going to be a ride or die with you, and someone who you can, have those tough conversations with, and you can spat. But like you said, that brotherly love, yeah, you might fight and butt heads, but in the long run, he's got you not just for today, but 15 years from now. That's what
Yes,
you want.
huge, because again, the quicker you find a person like that, the quicker your career takes off, and it actually slow down, but it take off for you, because the things that you thinking about, worrying about, you ain't thinking about and worried about no more. You can just go out there and just stretch and play the game that you love to play for a couple hours and make millions.
That's right.
Uh,
It's a business. You can focus on basketball and let him take care of all the, behind the scenes
right.
negotiation and putting you in the right place and making sure you're the right fit with the right team. Man, when you can just focus on basketball and know your agent's got your back and doing what's in your best interest for your career longevity, gold,
Yeah.
gold.
Keep your hair from being gray soon. So
Hey, that must be why I'm follically challenged right now, brother. I love it. So Lee, when you're in the NBA and now back home, all your boys and people that used to maybe hate on you a little bit, now you made it. Who was the guys that you couldn't wait to compete and bang on because you're like, you know what? I got this jersey on my back and I know I belong. Who was you looking forward to competing against the most?
well, I grew up, Larry Bird was my first idol. You
French Lick, Indiana, boy.
Love him to death, man. That's weird because everybody like, man, he was white. I said, man, but he'll bust you up though. So Larry Bird was my first idol, and then as I got older, Jordan just took over. So I wanted to play against Michael. So I tried to see how long he was going to play. Thank God that he played one more year. So I got a chance to play against him. But Kobe, Vince Carter, um, Tim Duncan, the ones that really like cemented their legacies in the NBA. You just wanted to see how you would match up with them. KG was another one that I wanted to play against because he was fiery to where he made you, get to his level, or you'd be sitting down somewhere. But I this to be honest, this playing in the NBA was or what I would say is everybody that I wanted to play against, just because every night it was a blessing to play in front of all them people. And not only that, the NBA, one thing they do is they coach and they teach excellence. So that's something that, as a kid, I used to have my room clean, neat. My mom never had to tell me to clean my room up because it was already clean. So I always wanted to be in line, in order, neat kind of guy. So once I got to the NBA, they just took it to a whole nother level to where, you eat, make sure you're bed. I mean, it was just so much little things the NBA taught me in life to keep me ahead of, the what I say, the bad times or whatnot, or the bad times that try to come. As long as you stay organized and you stay prepared, then whatever comes your way, you're gonna already knock it down, just because you already been doing this for X amount of years, to where, man, you got a lot of layers to get through.
Yeah, I love that because you took care of the small details with that discipline that you talked about 20 minutes ago. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Lee Nailon here with me. You're watching the Coach Scott Field Show, and we got a little less than 10 minutes. Love the nuggets that you're sharing with the listeners and the viewers of the Coach Scott Field Show, because I truly feel that if they listen, they will learn and they can grow through your experiences. So I can't thank you enough for being selfless to share this stuff with us, Lee. Um, you know, Great players make great coaches out of us in a hurry. And I want to share with everybody, as your career wasn't really winding down, but I was actually the head coach in South America. I tried so
Yeah,
hard to get you to come play for me, and we were this close to getting you signed. And all of a sudden, an agent contacted my general manager, and there was a player willing to come for a lot less. And I was like, we're going to get what we pay for, and this is our guy. This is who I want. He's going to fit our philosophy, because I know, hey, I might have had a little limp and I had some swag on the sideline, but you're going to help me get some W's, and we're going to get some win bonuses.
and I was blessed to play everywhere too, man. That's one thing I do love about this basketball game, is that it takes you different places and you meet different people, and it is the world is definitely round like a basketball, and if you impact a lot of people's life, then they'll be definitely looking for you, and trying to see what you're up to, and hopefully help you in life if you need it. But yeah, man, it's the playing everywhere. The basketball really is global, and now that the NBA is so attached to now global leagues and stuff like that, I think it's good, because a lot of them kids that's overseas that I even played against then was NBA, but they didn't have the resources. So now that they got the resources out there for these kids overseas, can college or go pro, I think that's a good thing. So
Yeah,
man, have some
there's
to
just
all.
more opportunities out there for everybody. And I want to bring light to the fact that, I mean, you played in Russia, you played in Lebanon, you were without a Riyadi. I actually coached them to a championship, Riyadi, but yet you were the Israeli player of the year and leading scorer in Israel. So I mean, there's opportunities, to have a livelihood and raise a family and take care of your needs if you're smart and if you're professional.
But again, it goes down to the relationship that you have with your agent. Because if you got 15 clients, you might miss a call on the guy that that might want that job. But if you got 3 clients and you getting calls, guess who gonna get them jobs? The 3 that you got, and not 15. So it was important for me, again, to get an agent that's more family oriented and that's really locked in with you, so that you can get deals like that overseas. Because again, a lot of these agents got so many clients that they miss calls for the last guy on their totem pole. So again, it's about who you pick as far as your agency that can have your career go further than just playing in the States. You can always go overseas and play too. But again, it starts with, with the agent.
Yeah. And I love you use the word family. And I believe that's so important to have that family atmosphere, that family culture, whether it's with your agent, with your coach, with people that you associate with. You got to look out and take care of each other and raise each other up. And then once you get there, you know what? Why not bring people up to your level and surround yourself with a good support system so you can take care of one another in a healthy and a non-toxic way?
Yeah, and again, I take a family guy over a business guy all day, because if you do what you're supposed to do, the business gonna come.
Yeah.
A lot of agents, and I ain't just knocking on agents, but again,
Yeah.
they're trying to, but business should come second and not first. So again, you got some people chasing the money, you got some people chasing relationships. So I'm just a big relationship guy. So the money, again, if you do what you're supposed to do, the money will come. The business side to take care of itself. But it's important to surround yourself as a young athlete that's trying to get all this money around people
Amen.
that.
Amen, brother. Hey, that's why I consider you family, and to have you on this show, man, it just feels like, even though we haven't seen each other face to face, I feel a connection and
Yeah,
a bond to you, because it's like, you know what, if Lee needs something, hopefully he knows he can give me a call, and vice versa. So love the facts that you're sharing here today. We got 3 or 4 minutes. Share a good locker room story or a bus story from the NBA that a lot of people have no idea about, but it'll bring a good laugh to everybody.
um so I ain't gonna tell who the player is. So
Yeah, now there you go.
so I'm playing with this certain team, and I'm playing with a guy. He's just a rock star. Like, wherever he went, people crying, screaming. Like, when we go to get something to eat, it was crazy. It was like literally like he was Michael Jackson. Like, it was crazy. So we going out to the club, and the night before, he got so wasted to where, a lot of me and a couple other teammates had to literally carry him out of there because he couldn't walk. So the next morning, we had shoot around. So everybody calling his room, he ain't answering. So the coach go up there. Uh, Mo Cheeks was the coach then. So he go up there to his room, knock on his door, bring him down. He still had his hoodie on. He was half dressed. He was walking on the bus like he was homeless. I was like, man. We got to the arena. We in the back, so everybody get off the bus. Um, we getting ready to stretch and warm up, and coach is like, bring it in. So he brought it in. He's like, what? Where's such and such at? And we was like, man, what? The man stayed on the bus. He didn't even get off the bus. He was so
Oh,
we get back on the bus. Coach rip him a new one. So we get to the hotel. Make a long story short, the bus comes. He on the early bus. Never rode the early bus. He on the early bus. Come get shots up. At the end of the night, he had 50. Like, it was crazy. And I just couldn't believe it. I was like, just earlier today, you couldn't even walk, and now all of a sudden you done hit these boys for 50. It was amazing, man. I couldn't believe it, man. That might have been the story that I'm part of. To be honest, I got some crazy ones, but I don't want to tell them on here because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
I,
want to keep it PG.
I respect that, and that's loyalty. That's brotherhood. Good job on that. We got about a minute. Give a word of advice or a phrase that has stuck with you throughout your life that you still utilize today for our viewers.
um, a couple of them cliche ones. I mean, they old school, but um, never let nobody tell you what you can't do. Um, trust the process, not the finish. Finished product. A lot of people attend. That's everyday work. People do something to get the reward instead of doing it out of love and just keep just doing it. Um, and trust God, man. Put him first. Uh, he gonna make that that everything that you're going through, he gonna put it on his plate and make sure that you can sleep at night. So, every morning I thank God that, he woke me up and giving me a chance to give back to these kids, to communities, to parents too, educating parents on this basketball stuff. So yeah, man, I'm excited for my future coaching, and looking forward to being a household name on the basketball, being as a coach and not a basketball player.
I love that. Hey, give a shout out to your wife real quick, because you and I, you know what, we picked great wives and great supporters. So please give
Yeah,
your wife a shout out.
she's everything to me. She know I love her to death. Without her, I wouldn't be sitting right here in front of you. We started this company, Dough and Tips. It's a soul food company where we smoke food and give back, and we do it outside of our heart. But yeah, she my best friend, my rock, my soulmate, my ride or die, my dog, uh, uh, my everything. Like she's everything. My best friend, all that. But love her to death. Jerriana Nailon, she's everything to me. Love you, baby.
I love that. Lee, God bless you, my friend. Thank you so much for, sharing this time with the viewers of the Coach Scott Field Show. It's just always uplifting to hear from you, to see you, to reconnect with you. Hopefully we're going to get together here in the near future, and some good things are going to continue to happen for these Indiana boys, but continue to impact lives the way that you do, my man.
Appreciate you, man. Send my love to the wife too. All right.
Done. Hey, live, love, and serve. God bless you, and stay tuned for the next exciting edition of the Coach Scott Field Show. But I'm going to tell you what, when you've got someone like a neat Lee Nailon sharing words, sharing that gold, and sharing that expertise, it's hard to beat. So thank you, Lee, for being a guest with us on our show today.
Appreciate it. Hey, guys, follow me on IG, Lee Nailon. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, there you go. God bless. Take care, Lee. I appreciate you, brother.